Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Analytics Mindset. In this specific video, we will be exploring the from clause and some basic joining. Now, as a little follow-up, this is the second part of my database basics videos. If you have not seen my SQL basics video, I recommend you to go back there and finish that video and then come back here. I will be referencing the same data that I used in that video with some additional tables. And I will be also working on some concepts that I already used there. With that being said, we can get started. First of all, what is the from clause? In order to explore this, we're going to need to create some data. I will not go into detail about how to create a table, like here, or how to insert values in a table. For now, just think of this as the same thing of exporting, you're importing a CSV into a Microsoft SQL Server in a database. That's actually a pretty common practice that can be done in multiple ways. For now, though, just think this is mock data that we're using. What this is saying is we have street, that is the address of the house, state, the US state, price is the current price of the house, price date is when the price was retrieved, and years in construction is how many days have passed since the house was built. In this case, though, to explore joining, we're going to need to have two tables instead of one. So we're going to create an owners table 2, and you're going to see here I'm creating a table. And I'm going to have the following fields here. An owner ID that is also being added here to the houses table is going to be very useful later on. The first name column, that is the first name of the owner or the family, the given name, and the last name, that is the family name of the owner. We also have a field called debt, that is how much debt this owner has in total, if they disclose it. Now we're also going to go ahead and just put some more data. Something I want you to notice here that you may have grasped before is that the IDs here go from 1 to 4. There is only 4 possible values here for the houses table. Notice something? If I go here to the owners table, I only have 4 values, and each of these ones have a name, a last name, and a debt associated with them. Now, you have been basically instructed, join these two tables and give me the names of these owners and some fields from the houses table. We are going to work on towards that goal. Before we do that, though, we're going to search again to the from clause. As I said in my previous video, this is the most basic way you can query in SQL. Select star or all, depending on how you call it, from a table. In this case, we are selecting all the columns from the owners table. That is all that you're telling SQL here. After I define your table and having the name of your table, you can just say select everything from owners. I'm going to go ahead and execute this. As you can see, I am just retrieving everything from owners, and this statement over here tells me what I put there. So I know for sure it is everything here. Now, the from clause is important because with the from clause, you can do very fancy stuff. If you change the table here, you can actually change what you're retrieving from. So by changing the table instead of owners to houses, I'm saying select everything from houses. And as you can see here, I have my houses data here. The only thing I did is instead of retrieving everything from owners, I'm retrieving everything from houses instead. With that being said, remember that the from clause is going to define where you're taking your data from. When you're using the wildcard, select all the columns, you don't have any problems because you're not saying anything by name. It is not a good convention, but you're saying, give me everything you have. Whatever you have, just give it back. Now, joins deserve their own video. I will not go that much into detail in this video today. I will eventually. And when I go, you're going to see somewhere over here a joins video. However, for now, just think about it as taking red columns from one table and some records, depending on the type of join, and a match from another table. Now, there are three basic forms of joining in SQL that are the inner, left, and right joins. Again, I will not go that much into detail, but the way I want you to remember these ones are you have your left table is the first one that you declare in the from clause. And then you have your right table or the second table, that is the one after the joining. You are going to be saying basically inner join, give me whatever is in between them. Left join, give me everything from my first table and whatever matches from the second one. And the right join, give me everything that matches from the left table, or the first one, and the rest, everything from the right table, including whatever matches from the left one. There is more resources that I'm going to leave in the description. However, I feel there is a pretty solid explanation for joins. Again, I will give them a video by themselves. In this case, it does not really matter what kind of join you use because owner ID, the four owner IDs exist in both tables. Therefore, you will have exactly the same kind of join in the result, regardless of what kind of join you use. However, for this purpose, and just for demonstration, we will limit ourselves to the inner join that, at least in my perspective, is the first kind of join that you get exposure for. We can say to SQL, hey, give me all the columns from both tables, but we need to specify a key. This key is what SQL is using to match those tables. Now, here you have the SQL syntax. You have select everything from owners, that is your first thing, declaring from the from clause, the owners table, and then I'm going to say inner join, you are joining that to the houses. And now you need to own it something. I'm going to join it on the owner ID. In plain English, what this says is select all from owners, inner join houses on the owner's owner ID, it's equal to the house's owner ID. The reason why I need to specify these two here and use this dot here is because they're called the same. I cannot say owner ID is equal to owner ID. I need to specify which table they are coming from, and I use that with a dot. If you are familiar with Windows and the system file, dot is really not that much different from this in the directory. You're basically saying it's here retrieved from here instead. So very similar to a backslash in Windows in the directories. Now, with that being said, if they were called differently, I could actually just say equals here without specifying the table because it would be unique. But again, because they are ambiguous, I will not do that. And I will specify this comes from owners, that owner ID, houses, that owner ID. Now, if I execute this, as you can see here, it just gave me everything. If we go back to our insert values here, you can see houses and owners. So let's go really quickly to the columns. Owner ID is here, first name, last name, and depth. These are the columns that are coming from that table owners. But then you have also the columns from houses. Owner ID from houses, street, state, price, price date, and year since construction. Therefore, I'm having both columns. Everything from both tables is coming into this query here. As you can imagine, this is not really a smart way to query. This is just for demonstration purposes, and I hope that you do not query in this way. Most case scenario, we are never going to do that. As I said before, our case problem was give me the first name and last name of the owner's table and some values from the houses table. So we're going to do this. We are going to say select from the owner's table first name and last name, and from the houses table street, state, price, year, and year since construction. From the owner's table, inner join houses on owners owner ID is equal to houses owner ID. Now, if I run this, you will see I get the same result. However, in this case, I have way less columns, so it is way less complicated. And trust me, when you have, this is a small data set, but when you have millions or thousands of records, excluding one column really can make a difference. This is a way smarter query and easier to read because you're defining what you want and you are bringing two subsets from the tables. Notice how we don't even have that owner ID here in the select clause. We could add it, we don't need it though. We could say, I want to see the owner ID. Well, I can add it here, and then I can run this again. And you see which one is joining there. However, we don't need it. We don't need that at all, and we can just run this query without that owner ID. That owner ID is there to link these two different tables, but we do not need it. We can select the values we're interested in, the columns we're interested in, without taking into account this owner ID. Now, another feature from this, the from clause related to joining, is that we can give an alias to a table or a column that we will see later on in another future video. And we can make the query way more compact by giving aliases. Here you can see in each of these columns, I need to give the whole, it comes from owners, comes from houses. And that makes the query very long, at least for this kind of purpose, and considering it's not really a big data set. I can give it an alias. Notice how this query here is going to give you exactly the same result as this query here. You have the same things, everything is the same. The only difference is that I said owners, the table owners is going to be O from now on. And the table houses is going to be H from now on. Therefore, I can replace where I put owners, like here, in last name, with O instead. This is going to make my query way shorter and easier to read. It makes it a little bit more obscure though, because you need to remember what alias you gave to each table. However, it is a very good way to make your SQL code a little bit more compact. And it also can help you later on if especially you have tables that are into a specific data set in the database. Therefore, they are not as nice as houses. They might be like ibmaster.bw.houses or similar convention to that. BigQuery uses projects that you may have your specific project and then your table data set and then your actual table. Aliases can save you a lot of time, more so when you need to declare it and when you have the same column in two tables. Now, we can use aliases on a column as I noticed it, but we will keep that for a separate select video, including with more data preparation and how to aggregate stuff. And the last operation we want to perform if we will not use these tables anymore is drop them. I will just go ahead and drop these two tables. And as you can see, these two commands have dropped these two tables. And with that, I hope that was useful for you. This is a quick video, just going through the from clause. In the future, I will have more comprehensive topics in this section, but I'm starting small, and I just want to take my time to explore different SQL topics. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give a like if you want, put a comment. I will likely take any criticism. I want to improve as well. And please, thank you for watching my video. Have a good day.